Okay guys, hi everyone, welcome back to another webisode and the second part of the home office makeover. If you had seen the first part of the home office makeover, you'll know that I literally just finished filming and then picked up the camera again to start this webisode. It is a couple of weeks since I started the makeover, made the decision that we're going to be doing something with that space upstairs, and I am feeling much more confident about where we're going. I really was struggling when I first entered that room as to what the situation was and what we were doing, but now I'm feeling so much more like I've got a plan, particularly with the space that we're going to work on today. I think once I get that space sorted, I'm going to feel so much better when it comes to like actually the makeover, if that makes sense. It's just going to feel so much better. So, by the way, if you can hear anything in the background, it is the puppy going crazy with one of his toys. I tried to get him to sit calmly, but border collies. So yeah, I've just been finishing up a sketch that I've got of the space. So I've got two sketches going on with the home office makeover. One of sort of the floor plan that I'm thinking of, and then one of what we're going to be working on today. So these are my sketches. So this one here, the top one, we'll talk about first. This is the kind of floor plan I envision we're going to be doing for the space. So this bit is the stairs coming up. So that's where you would come from here to here. It's a bit backwards because technically when you enter the room, it's like that, but we're covering, in fact, we'll do this and we'll just cover half my face with it. So you come up the stairs here, you come to that kind of like weird open gap bit space, which is just where the drying rack's going to live for the moment. I haven't really got plans for that space. You can see, oh no, wait, hang on. It's that way. Is it that way? It's that way. No, it's that way. What's happening? Why is this not making sense? Oh, it's because you come up that way. Sorry, you come up this way. Sorry, I literally just was like, why is that making sense? The desk isn't where I thought it would be. But yeah, this L shape is the idea that I have for having a desk situation. So it's going to be L shape built in. That's going to be a project for another time. At the moment, I've got a good working desk for the moment while I'm working from home. So this space here is where I imagine that we'll put like a day bed with the armchair that I have got upstairs, just waiting to be kind of positioned. And then I imagine maybe having like a little trunk situation or a blanket box just for storage and like creating a coffee table. It's like literally going to be like a mini seating area. And then this space here, sorry, I'm having to look at it because it's all backwards. This is what we're going to be working on today, which is this big sketch here. So as I mentioned in the last episode, which if you're interested in watching that first before you watch this, if you've come in halfway and thinking what's she talking about, pause the video, go watch that one and then come back here again. But at the end of the episode, I talked about how I found some spare Ivar shelves, which are IKEA shelves, and it's a whole kind of storage system, pine wood situation basically, from IKEA. It's really good and it's kind of come leaps and bounds since it kind of originally came out because there's so many combinations you can do. But essentially, I had a look at it and I was like, I could definitely do some sort of like storage situation where everything can be on shelves and stuff and be a bit more organised, but I can also use it to create a faux wall. So I kind of mentioned I was going to create a faux wall, and I bet all of you were like, how is she building walls, what's going on? My idea is to basically use the shelving as sort of the base and look for getting some form of like MDF board or hardwood board, any board really, that I can then put onto the back of it and create it as it's enclosed. So you can kind of see here it can stretch quite far. We obviously have to leave a gap to get in, but we can basically do boarding here, boarding here. We'll have to do a cutout so it can kind of sit as flush to the wall as possible, but essentially we'll create four faux walls inset where it will look like it's kind of another cupboard situation. And then if I wanted to do maybe like a door or something, I could do. And the reason why I'm thinking hardboard or MDF is because we're going to be wallpapering the whole room, so I can technically wallpaper that. It won't be as great because it won't be a solid wall, but it will give the illusion that it is part of the wall, especially if I get it as close to the other wall as possible. If I cut the skirting board like cove right, and then simply in those gaps I can put like a tree, not a tree, like a plant, you know what I mean, not like an actual tree, but plant, something decorative to just cover those spaces up. And I think that would be a great situation of hiding the storage, allowing easy access to it when we need it, but also just kind of keeping that kind of design element in there. So that's what we're looking at today. I've done a lot of the organisation in terms of costings and stuff like that. There is a lot that I'm having a look at in terms of like pieces needed. It's going to be quite a spenny project, but it's one of those where I know these pieces, like, because we'll just be using like screws and stuff to attach the hardboard onto the posts and stuff, which you'll see more in this video, like it's going to be ones where we can take them with us to our next home or something like that, and we can still use them without kind of completely ruining them and stuff, you know. More will come reveal as we go through this project. I also want to kind of just quickly point out that, like, we've got other IKEA hacks, other IKEA builds coming in. So certainly the L-shaped desk here, that's going to be an IKEA one. I've got this idea here in that sort of weird space at the top where it's like the wall jets in, kind of as you look straight into the room. I want to do something there as like a faux sideboard situation. These are going to come later on as and when funds build up, etc, etc. So they'll be interesting ones to look for, but this is really going to be one where I'm going to take all the IKEA kind of like hacks to the max in this space, and to make sure it doesn't look too so much like a flat pack world of furniture and stuff, we're really going to have to play with, you know, adding the vintage elements and that type of stuff to really combine like my vintage style with, like, you know, modern IKEA stuff. So hopefully this one will be really interesting for you guys who want to do these hacks but don't worry about them not fitting in with your interior space. So I've rambled on enough. I'm literally going to IKEA now. I'm not starting the project today, but as I mentioned previously, they're on sale at the moment, the Ivar stuff, so this is going to massively reduce the cost of the product. So I'm going now in order to get them, so that I get them at the reduced cost, and then we'll probably start the project next week. Or sometime next week, yeah. So let me go and pack you up, let me get my bag, and let's hit the road. Okay, it's midway through the week. I've just finished working from home a bit ago, and I thought, well, I'll get started on this. And we've already run into a slight problem, so I'll explain that in a bit, but I'll just show you where I've got to so far. So you would have seen me pick up these and these over here. These are the Ivar range. They were on sale at the time that I purchased them, which is why I rushed to get them, because I was like, might as well keep the cost down while we can. And this is the idea that I have. So I've used the smaller ones, and the idea is just to have them line up, and then, like I said, get hardboard MDF and cover them so that from this side it will be all like kind of a wall essentially. But then in here, as you can see, I've already started tidying like my little like travel section. So it's not quite come out 100% like the drawing, which is fine, but this instantly feels so much better. I was wanting to build the other one to you know, obviously complete this half of it, but we've run into a problem. Again, I'll explain that in a bit. But as you can see, this feels a bit more like I can reach stuff when we need it. I can just kind of come in here, grab it, go. I've even started here just sort of grabbing some of these old baskets that I have that I didn't have any use for, but now I do, of like just organising bits and bobs. So now it feels a bit better of like coming to shop my travel section. So yeah, this is feeling quite nice. And then I want to obviously continue that over to this side, which I think once I do, it's going to be so like nice to be in here. So hopefully I'll get this, well, I will get this done before the weekend. As you can see, I have completely made a mess up here, so no more working up here for a bit, but I'm confident I'll get this kind of sorted. And I'm also being really ruthless with like some of the stuff of like where things go. So you can see here I had like a surplus of coffee table books that I've put here, because once this is cleared out, I'm hoping to create like that faux DIY sideboard which they'll all be hosted in, which will look cute. I've moved those there because I really do want to get the kitchen makeover started soon after this project, so I've put them to one side. I found a load of frames. I found a whiteboard that I need to DIY into like a pin board. So there's a lot of stuff going on up here, but I am quite being ruthless with like everything else of like, if I don't need it, then I'm getting rid of it. To say I look fresh is an understatement. I look horrific. I am sweltering, but it's been worth it. So I've just been finished off the last couple of days just getting the storage units into place. I've had to recalculate everything. I'm going to blame it on the neurodiversity, the get out of jail free card, but I don't know what I was thinking with this design here, because I definitely can't fit 4 across. I definitely could not fit 2 across in that little tiny bit. Like, I could have maybe got 2 on like the right hand side of it, but the gap to get in would have been so narrow, it just wouldn't have been worth it. So I've had to kind of change it a little bit, which I thought was being filmed, and then realised the battery died. So I'm really sorry that you've missed out on a bit of a DIY, but I'll show you. You haven't missed much. But yeah, I've put the storage unit up. I have been organising everything as to where it would be going, and I don't know if you can just tell, I feel like 10 pounds lighter, like I have lost a stone in sort of like anxiety, because like it just feels so much tidier in here. It doesn't look tidy, I'm fully aware of what's happening behind me, but everything has like a plan now of where it's going. It just feels so much better. I'm like, breathing again. So I'm really happy that I did this, even though I'm about to undo it tomorrow when I finish off the DIY, but it's worth doing now because like at least I've got an idea, and I really needed to see what could go where in order for me to kind of fully understand like if I needed all the shelves or not. Which, by the way, over here, this is all going back to the store. I definitely overcalculated like how much I needed to buy. It's a good problem to have, you know, because at least I had spares and I didn't have to like go out and get more of them. But I'm so bad with calculations and stuff. And I think the problem was I calculated it as one pole rather than that one side unit was one whole side unit. So yeah, I've definitely overspent, but that's free money, you know. Girl money means that's free, you know. I've made money, essentially. So yeah, let me kind of show you around, let me talk you through what we're going through, and then my plan is to get this all finished tomorrow, which will be great. And it has to be finished because I'm hosting this weekend, so I definitely need to finish it so I can kind of show them where I'm going to, and I have to worry about this DIY project. So let me kind of give you a tour. You'll have to ignore the fan in the background. It's hotter than the sun up here, so it's just on. So let me show you around. Okay, so this is the madness of this side of the room. I'm really building up to the reveal. So I've got things kind of organised. This is stuff that isn't going behind me, but it's like things organised in place that kind of know where things are going to go. So ignore the washing over there. We've got the armchair out, which is going to definitely sit somewhere here. And then Lee's typewriter, which she does want over there. So it's like fair deals, we'll move it over there. Found all these frames, a mirror that I'm definitely thinking I'm going to have downstairs. So I thought I'd keep it out for now. I also found this scarf, and I remembered why I kept this scarf. This scarf was a $5 on Lara Doot website, and I picked it up and never wore it like a scarf. So I figured I might do something either here or behind me here and frame it. Oh, oops, sorry, I've gone a bit fuzzy there. There we go. So yeah, I figured I'd frame it. I'm standing on a creaky floorboard there. I've got all the coffee table books out for that built-in side unit across there. That is a headboard. That's for a project obviously downstairs later. I know I want to set the TV up here, so I've got the TV out there. I've got my camera equipment because I definitely think I'm going to put it in that corner when I build out the desk, but I'm keeping it there for now. Also is Lee's artwork, because he's kind of hinted that he would like access to this stuff. So I'm thinking, I'll explain it in more detail, but I'm thinking if I do an L shape, I really want to look at kind of drawer storage situation, but like one side for me and one side for Lee to access. So I'm going to work that out, but that's kind of the plan I've got there. This bad boy here, my laptop, because I've been watching YouTube while I'm doing it. I don't know if I've ever really explained this, so I'll explain this another time, but you can kind of tell what it is, but I'll explain why I've got it another time. And let's do the final reveal over here. Da, 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 da. I'm so happy. Like, this just feels so much nicer. So this is like what it's going to look like behind the scenes. So tomorrow I'm going to pick up the hardwood MDF, whichever one is cheaper. It's going to go up past the beam. It's not going to touch the ceiling, but it's going to go just a bit past the beam. So the beam's there for support, but also like you can't see the gap. It's going to all be nailed in and screwed in. I'm going to go around the side here so that it's kind of neatly tidied off there. So we'll have to do a weird cut to go with the slope, which is going to be fun for my brain. But this is all going to be kind of hidden and look like a wall essentially. We've got this side sorted here, and this is kind of more easy access side. These boxes here are currently holding all the units because they don't have the support brackets that they should have. That was the one thing I forgot to pick up, but it's a happy accident because I don't actually need them, because when I put the hardboard on, I have a feeling that's going to keep them very much upright and centered, but they're just there for now. These are all records. Some are mine, some are my granddad's, and some of my dad's when I was clearing out my grandparents' estate. So I'm definitely going to get these out somewhere. I think maybe on the sideboard bit here. Again, it's probably just something I will sort out another day. That's a memory box that's going to go up here, but it's weighty. These things here are our seasonal clothes, so that's obviously winter. I'm going to slot them in there, but I'm just not going to put in there for now. So if I take you into the cave bit here, I'm so happy with this. Everyone must be like, yeah, this is just storage, but I'm really happy to show off. So as you can see here, easy access stuff like sewing machine, dashes, crate, wrapping paper and gift cards, always need. Big suitcase slots in there just nicely. I've got a bag of Dash's like baby blanket, the one he came home in and the one he travels with. So I've got that there. His travel bag is just behind there with the cabin suitcases, picnic baskets, all the travel stuff there. And then this stuff here is all kind of decor pieces. Well, that's my electric blanket, but I need a little storage bit. So these are baskets that I was using before and just kind of threw up here. But these all have, like, if you see, lots of decor in them. So it's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze getting them out and stuff, but it's perfect for just storing little odd bits and bobs that I'm not quite ready to part with, but I don't quite have a plan for. So they're kind of all up there, and I think it's just going to be so nice and neat. And then, oh, this side. So if you're wondering why we've got a door up here, this is the door to the stairs. So there used to be a door between our stair entrance and the living room, and I wanted it a bit more open plan, so we got it up here, much to my husband's annoyance. So this is literally the only room it can be stored in, so it's there. We've got the Christmas tree there. There's literally no other place it can be. Christmas skirt. That is a magazine rack that we had in our old apartment before we moved in here. And Lee is confident he will use it in our next coffee shop once we've got more space for it, so I'm just not prepared to get rid of it. And then we've got like a spare chair that I think I'll probably just sell on Facebook Marketplace, because I don't see why we would need it, but at the same time, so if we're having a spare chair. And then here is more stuff. Like, I have a feeling like all the boxes for the seasonal clothing will go here, pushed out. So right at the back there on the bottom shelf is all the stuff from our in fact, I don't know why I'm crouched down here when I can show you on the other side. 1 second. I just realised for this one I didn't have to be crouched down for it. I can show you from here, like the stuff. So these two pieces of artwork that my husband worked on, I will put them up one day in our forever home, just not in this home. So they're still wrapped up, and I will put them up, I promise him. We've got this kind of section here, which is all the stuff we've removed from the house that we will have to put back up. So it's old curtains, lampshades, stuff like that. So that's all there. I've got spare cushions here, which I feel like I should just get rid of, but I'm keeping out. Maybe I might need them for this makeover, you never know. They're the Christmas wreaths, but that could pretty much be an open spare shelf soon. This is a tray that I refuse to kind of get rid of because it cost me £5 in the Zara home sale. This is another tray that is just too big for our home, but again, I've saved it for future me. This box here has two very important pieces. It has some champagne glasses that are Vera Wang that my friend got me for our wedding. So keeping them for when we do have a forever home and I can get them out. And then this piece here is a cake stand that is one of the last pieces that my dad made before he passed. So obviously that is very much protected until I find its forever home. There's like a fruit bowl here as well that I've just got on the side. This is a box full of giraffes and glassware that I just want to put to one side. Oh, I spoke about memory box. And then that box here is just a box full of magazines and newspapers and stuff, just of kind of special events. So obviously the most recent stuff to it is the King's coronation. I've got in there like an issue of like either Vogue or Elle, any fashion magazine from everywhere I've travelled. So like when we go to Portugal, we'll be picking up like a Portuguese Vogue and putting it in there. I just like to have them as a way of remembering like my travels and stuff. So I've got one from Thailand, one from Jordan, one from New York, etc. But also I just like having, like, it's kind of a bit of history. And if we have kids and they have kids, you know, our grandchildren might be like, oh, I need to do some clippings for the King's coronation for a presentation. I can be like, well, I've got stuff from that time. So that's kind of why I keep them there. So yeah, this is it kind of organised. So the only thing I'm a bit annoyed about with this, and it's probably me, you're all going to tell me it's absolutely fine, but obviously this will be the entranceway. Now, I could have done what I've done here. In fact, I didn't even talk to you about that bit. Sorry, I'm like all over the place here. I just had to quickly cut it down, as you can see. Oh, come on, focus. Such poor lighting in here, this is why. Sorry, we just had to focus there. So you can see I just clipped down the eye-bar. It's pine wood, so just use a handsaw, but I just clipped it down so that I could slot it in here with this with the roof, just because if I wanted two of these out here, the gap would have been too small for me to fit through. So I needed it to not be too big, but big enough so that, you know, oh, sorry, just focus you again. There we go. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure the gap was big enough so I can actually get in and out and it be practical rather than just be somewhere where I can't get to. So we just did one on the side here, and that's done really, really well in terms of like just having extra storage there. Right now I'm going to get out of this little hole. I have a feeling this is somewhere I'm going to be hiding a lot. I don't know why. Okay, so this leads me nicely onto the gap as I was talking about. So yeah, the gap is big enough to get in. If I had another one of these, it would probably take in the gap about there, so it would have been really too narrow. So it's definitely a good thing that we're leaving the gap big, but you can obviously see the door from here. It's not something that I like a lot. Now, we do have the armchair that's next to me that I think would probably sit about there, or I could put a plant there. I could do something to hide the gap, definitely. I even think you guys will be in the comments saying, sweetie, no one's ever going to notice the gap. It's fine. It just really bugs me. Maybe something I can do is possibly look at doing maybe like a barn door. I hate barn doors. I'm sorry if you have barn doors. I don't really like them myself. But in this situation, maybe do I do a barn door that just slides across so that it is hidden? Or is it really going to be bothering me that much? And I think it's one of those that I probably look at adding on once everything's finished in here. Like, let's clear out all this stuff, let's get things in place, and let's actually see if it bothers me that much that I do need to cover it up and whatnot. But yeah, this is the room so far. I'm going to leave it here. The next clip you're probably going to see is me at the local DIY store. I'm going to get my measurements for these so I know exactly what I need to pick up wood wise, and yeah, let's get finishing this DIY project. Okay, once again we have wild hair going on, but I'm back up here in the home office. I'm hoping to finish this project today. I feel like we can do it, like we can definitely crush it this evening. So you would have seen I've just, well, I haven't just been to B&Q. In the clips I have just been to B&Q, but it has been a couple of hours since I've done like dog walking and whatnot in that time. And now I'm back and like I can really focus on this until like, you know, evening time. So I've bought all the wood. So I went for a hard board plywood, so it's like kind of like a, I'm not sure what it exactly is made of, but it's fairly thick, it's hardwood, and I figured it would be perfect for like this project where you're not going to see it on show. It was a bit too cheap, and by that I mean I don't think they charged me properly for one of the boards, because they were like 27, and it was on offer at 27. I got 2 big boards, and I think they've only charged me for 1, because with the other purchase I got, the math fit. So I'm not going to complain, but I was just a bit like, I'm very confused by this, and I had to do a lot of maths in the store. Like, let me just show you the massive working outs that I was trying to do of like how many of the pieces could I cut from these 2 boards, because I couldn't find the board that would fit both length and width and stuff like that. I also treated myself to something, because again it was on offer and I thought, you know what, why not? So this is the little Bosch power screwdriver. It's USB charged. It comes with all these little heads. You don't need an electric screwdriver, but I was just like, for things like this, like sometimes I use my drill and I always think, oh, I don't think the drill can handle like screwing. I mean it can, but I always think sometimes you just want something a little nifty like this, and I figured for something like this, perfect little project, and also for putting together IKEA furniture and whatnot. So other half is very happy that I picked this up. It's like, yes, no manual screwing for me when you can't reach things. So I've got all the pieces. I had to do a lot of maths in what I'm doing, and I'm gonna have to reshift how I'm going to put them together. So the boards themselves, again, depends on your project. as to whether or not this will work for you, but the boards I got from B&Q were 2.44 meters by 1.22, so 244 centimeters by 122 centimeters, and I think it was 9 mil thick, so just under a centimeter thick. It could even be not as thick. So with that, I did the length of it, so it's almost as much as I could, get everything all one length, and then use the 122 centimeter side as the kind of guide for the length. But I need to show you guys. I think you can kind of see it there where one of the boards is like propped up, but basically there's only a small bit of the I-bar shelving that I can actually screw into the top pieces, which isn't going to be enough for what I need. So what I'm going to have to do is kind of like switch them over, and instead of having like the big full pieces on the bottom, I'm going to have to start with the smaller pieces down below and then build it up that way. I also think I've made an error. As much as I was doing the math in the store, I think I've cut this one for this longer size wrong, but I do have a lot of spare wood and stuff, so it shouldn't be, it should hopefully work out. We hope. I'm gonna lay it out. I need to take everything off storage wise and put it somewhere in this room, but I'm gonna set you up. We'll have another time lapse, and yeah, I'm using, where did I put them? Up behind me, 1 second. Okay, we have everything here. So handsaw for cutting through the wood, because I'm gonna have to cut it when I do an angle. I have a huge box of these. These are just universal screws. They look like this. I figured they'll be perfect for going in. I'm hoping they're not too long. We shall see. But they're just universal. My dad always recommended them, so that's what I'll go with. I've got meter ruler for measuring when I have to do everything on the angle, and I also brought up my clamps just for initial, hold them in place, get the first kind of screws in there, and then, you know, we can remove them and move on and stuff. So I think I'm gonna work on this side first, because this is the bigger side, and then make my way across, and I'm gonna just take it 1 unit at a time, go from there. So let's set you up. It's so warm in here. I've pulled the fan out, so we've got much more of a direct aircon on me, but yeah, let's set you up. Let me time lapse you, and then yeah, this should be finished by this evening. Okay, my face has like flared up. I've got rosacea, and the heat and just doing everything has just gone on my face. So if I look like a tomato, this is reality when I'm having a hot flush. It's not painful, it's just bright. It looks painful. It's hot, but it's not like like painful. It's not burning or anything. Anywho, that was some effort. I had to take a break. It's been about half an hour since I've kind of put everything up. Just purely because I wanted to hoover up here and clean up as I go along and just give everything a good organise. I put stuff back, but also I just had to have a moment off camera to feel really overwhelmed because it's turned out better than I can expect, and yeah, I just feel so proud of myself for what I've been able to do, and it was really overwhelming and I just had to have a moment and bask in it. And then I had a little bit of a moment where I thought about my dad, and even though he wouldn't have said anything, I know he would have been like so impressed with what I've been able to do. And yeah, I just had like all the feels. But as you can see, it is up the first part of the wall. I started this it's taken me about 3 hours, I will say, to do one part. I mean, this was the bigger part. I think once I move on to that part, it's going to be a lot quicker, but here's me thinking I can do 2 walls in one day. I mean, I'm still gonna try. But yeah, I love my over ambition like self of just like, oh yeah, this will be fine. It's not like 100%, like as you can see there's a gap there, it's not flushed, it's not a low bearing wall that will allow you to put stuff into it and stuff. I mean, to be fair, actually, I say that I probably could hang a picture on here if I wanted to. We're not. But it's just a good base for covering with wallpaper and creating hidden storage in it. So let me show you it around, get this space off camera, and let me show you where we're up to so far. So this is the completed wall. If I'm honest, on camera it looks a lot more seamless than it does in real life. There's a few bits where I'm like, but looking on the screen, oh, come on, oh, she's gonna struggle. There we go. It looks quite like it's blended in perfectly. But yeah, this is my renter-friendly faux interior wall. So I did this little bit off camera just because there was a bit of math involved in the form of just that meeting there. I could have gone a little bit further up, but I just wanted to make sure I got that kind of corner there. But everything is very much a right angle. It's all straight, it's all aligned. It's looking really impressive. There is obviously a gap, I don't know if you can see it down there, where the skating board is. It's somewhat seamless up to there, but in all honesty, big plant there. I'll cover that right up, no one's gonna know. I think one thing you could do if you were really wanting to blend it in is you could look at doing a skirting board across there to make it actually look like a wall. It's something I'm contemplating, but I'm gonna wait and see if it really bothers me when I start to move furniture in there, because it's an easy add-on later, because it will just be a case of nailing it in or gluing it on, really actually just gluing it on. So I'm going to leave it for later. I also installed some lighting. Nothing technical, it's just one of these pucker lights, so you can press it like this and it will turn on, or there's a little remote. If I take you in the cave, da, 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 da. So I just stuck one up there. Apologies if this is really bad. Oh yeah, there's like lines moving across it, so I won't stay in here too long in case it's making you ill. If I turn it off, there we go, much better. But yeah, I just thought you can see in here, but obviously I've got this side open up. I don't know how dark it's going to be once this is closed in, so I figured having a little light here, and then I'll probably just kind of blue tack that there or something like that, so that as and when you want to come in here, you know, you can just flick that on. But I've moved everything over to this side. I've shoved also stuff like the headboard, which is obviously a DIY project for the future, and that mirror. I've just put it to that side there, and then I just moved the photo because it was kind of coming out a little bit here. I just moved it there just for the moment. Sorry, not photo, husband's artwork, just so it's hidden for pictures and stuff. But I'm really, really impressed with what I've been able to do. The other thing I did as well, which is probably not render friendly, but honestly no one's going to know, is to make sure it's quite seamless at the top and just give it support. You can't see it here, but I put some of these decking screws or all-purpose screws into the wooden beam, which was a risk with well over 100-year-old beam. but it's just hold everything in place, and realistically no one's going to see anything once you take the screws out. So it's our little secret, guys. But yeah, here we go. But yeah, that is the wall completed this side, and yeah, I'm so happy with what I've been able to do. I'm just going to move poor dollhouse back out again just so I can take a picture. I'm going to do a very clickbaity blog post, because I reckon even with the IKEA stuff, I'm going to do proper calculations, but I reckon I've been able to create like a faux interior wall renter friendly for under £200, which I don't think can be done. Like, I'm really impressed with what I've been able to do here. So yeah, that is all good. So this side is the next bit to do, and like I said, I'm going to give it a go tonight. If I can get it all out of the way, that'd be great. So I'm going to give it a go now, and then that will allow me just to kind of, again, tidy everything up fully, get everything out of the place, and then really have a look at it. So shall we do a little bit of a reveal, because you kind of seen the method to it. So this is it at the moment, looking gorgeous. I'm going to do a reveal. 3, 2, 1. So the DIY is complete. I will admit, this is a couple of weeks later since I last spoke to you. Obviously no time for you guys at all watching this, but yeah, I have left this very late to finish, literally the weekend before these videos go out. It's just been chaotic getting ready for the holiday, so I've pushed things aside, and it's also been very hot. I'm coming up with all the excuses under the sun, but it's been really warm. It's been like a sauna up here, so I haven't really wanted to do any sort of like DIY up here while it's been really hot. Although I will admit, I finally got the window open because I made my little stick there, so I can now open this window and let a bit more of a breeze in here, so I can actually come back up here and work now because I can get the window open. But that is the side done. You will notice it's in 3 parts because I measured it wrong, but it's fine. I used to pull the wood, so I never had to go and get extra wood, but that is that side completely encased. And then just do a bit of a pan around. Da, 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 da. I can't tell you how much I honestly am obsessed with like how this DIY has turned out. It's crazy. I know it's not like real proper interior walls. I know some people have some, you know, stuff to say, but for me this is like the perfect solution for just getting rid and hiding stuff. Obviously, yeah, you can still see stuff there. I'm still in and ahhing about what I'm going to do with the gap here. We shall see at a later date, but I mean, apart from ignoring all the chaos this side, this feels very calm and very sort of homely now. So I feel a lot more like content to work up here because the majority of the stuff is hidden, out of the way, outside, out of mind. And yeah, I'm just so glad that I did this DIY project. Like, I'm so happy with the results. Okay, my hair is huge. Like, it's just gone like that. But yes, this is the end of the project and the end of this part of the room makeover webisode. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you can't tell, I'm beaming. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I'm ready to start kind of somewhat styling it just so I can take some after photos for the blog, where I'll link that all down below if you're interested in seeing sort of like how everything turned out and whatnot in picture form. But yeah, this is kind of the stopping point. We are going on our travels in a bit, so we won't be coming back with some room makeovers for a little while, just because we've got obviously the vlog in terms of traveling, as much as I will film out there, and then also we need to decorate for fall, because the time I come back it will literally be September, and as we know I will be late to the game getting ready for autumn, so we definitely need to get that kind of going in our home as well. So there's going to be a bit of a break, but do make sure you follow me on Instagram, because I'm going to be asking some of your guys' opinions on some stuff, particularly to do with how I'm going to cover the walls. So do make sure you're following me so you don't miss out on those stories, because I'm very much going to appreciate your opinion on what's coming up. I think the next stage in terms of stuff is to get the walls covered, and then once the walls are done, we're moving on to the next DIY project, which will be an IKEA hack. I think we're going to start over here to this side, so that is the first bit that you walk in and see, so we'll get that set up, and then we'll move on to the desk area and sort of do a semicircle around. In all honesty as well, I'm really kind of rethinking things, particularly behind here as such. I love how I said I was signing off and now I'm having a conversation with you guys. But I was thinking maybe an IKEA daybed. I actually don't think it's going to fit. I think it's going to overlap into the gap there. So we shall see what kind of comes out of that situation. I may still turn it into some form of seating area, but it could just be like a little bit of a, you know, we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, I'm excited to sort of move into this room, get it all set up, and once we get whatever we go with, because I'm still undecided about the walls, it's gonna really start to take shape in terms of how everything's going and stuff. So yeah, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the next part. I'm having a feeling that this will all be somewhat completed by time we move into sort of Christmassy stuff. So yeah, it's going to be one of those. I'm taking it slowly but surely, and I think it's just going to turn out amazing. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to everything. All the links down below where you can find me will be there. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Let me know which part you're looking forward to seeing next, and just any questions or queries about what I did. All the blog posts will be linked down below, but feel free to leave me a comment and I will answer as and when I can. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and yeah, I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye.